other things of that nature. Also, Damwon, they want to make sure that they don't try to get ahead of themselves and get too cocky like they did in Game 1. Trying to go for that very quick end.
It looks like the similar bans coming in here, as the Rek'Sai was, of course, banned in game number 1 also. And the Taliyah is going to be that follow-up. And in fact, Damwon is sticking to their guns entirely, despite being on the blue side now. Last time around, the Syndra was the first ban on T1's side. And they're now going to leave that one available. Forced into the Akali ban, of course, when you're up against Showmaker. He's just very, very good at that champion. And they will lock that one away first pick in an instant. As the Mordekaiser ban coming in, Damwon actually respecting the pick that Noguri was able to flatten T1 with the first time around. This might mean that Damwon are looking for their own set first pick and deny the Mordekaiser pick in response. And now would be the time, Noguri.
Not personally a fan of set on B1, because like we saw in the previous game, certain team compositions that are just hard to stick to can end up being problematic. So now the ball is in T1's court. I said this last game.
Oh, it's happening.
I talked about it.
Well,
Soraka,
we're hovering it.
She can tame him.
It would be an awful time for a set who is very melee. But it's not looking to be what they're going to lock away, at least the first round. As T1 consider the Gragas for Cuz once again, and that is going to be locked away. What he's actually going to pick up here remains unseen.
R1 Gragas, R2 Aphelios Senna is really strong. Personally, I'm a much bigger fan of Senna than I am of Aphelios. I just think that she's a lot more versatile. Damwon now responding. Zyra Khan, all of their champions have to go into T1 thus far in the draft, and so champions that disrupt, hard engage in short-range, close-quarter combat like Cassiopeia, Veigar, Ryze, champions of this nature, they ruin this team composition. Right now, though, Leona, she's going to get picked up in isolation. She's going to be really good against the Rakan.
Yep, just a classic Rakan counterpick there coming in here from T1. As the response, the Jarvan going to be taken off the board. Canyon not going to be able to jump onto that champ, but there is the opportunity to grab the Lee Sin one more time, and Canyon certainly did have his eye in on that one. See what the follow-up ban is here on Damwon's side, as they might look to deny picks like the Ryze and the Cassio from Faker, who is of course very proficient on both of those pickups. But no, it's going to be a focus towards the top side, as Renekton going to be taken away. And there's the Syndra. Pretty standard stuff here. T1 taking away a comfortable blind pick mid lane.
Well, Renekton.
What's the follow-up ban here for Damwon? Trying to protect the set pick.
I wonder if Soraka ends up actually getting hit, but instead it's going to be Aatrox. These aren't champions that I think of when I think of set problems. Aatrox does have the potential to kill him, but it's on set to really mess up.
Yep.
With the W.
Okay, that's enough. That's the counter pick option that Roach was looking for up into the set. I can understand it based on range advantage, I guess.
It's going to be a really thin balancing act against sets Q and E combo.
I actually feel also like it might be... It's both an answer and a problem, because you get so much bonus health from transforming that if you're then, like, altered into the team, you're going to murder your teammates.
It gets very strange. And it looks like we might have a mid-Ord on our hands.
Yeah, this is something that we've seen a lot of.
Or it could be mid-set.
Yeah, and we are staying color coordinated on Damwon's
We are really, they are very red, white, and pink.
They are. It was anime themed for the first 3 picks, and then Ornn came in, and now we've got Lee Sin, but certainly the color coordination is strong for Damwon as the Lee is locked.
Now, if you're T1, you need a champion that ruins close quarter combat. Cassiopeia is really good here, as is Veigar. Ryze is also okay too. LeBlanc is not the no. gonna pass it back to you there, Atlas.
Well, LeBlanc was picked up. It's certainly a Faker special, and wanting to put him on comfort is something that I could certainly understand, but it doesn't necessarily, like you say, fit into the desired team composition as effectively as you would otherwise want. But as we have a look at these compositions holistically, where do you think both of these teams are going to be fighting? Because I'm looking on T1 side and feeling like it's similar to last game, but I guess they do have a few more late game options with, you know, Nah flanks into Teddy popping off, potentially.
It's very bizarre to me that Damwon showed on B1 through 3 that they're coming into you. They're going to be hard engaging. They're going to be short range, close quarter combat. And then you R4 Gnar into Set, which is going to be a balancing act in itself.
Yeah.
But then Set descales your Gnar just due to the nature of the matchup, but how it's going to fit into the team compositions. And then the enemy team goes Ornn and Lee Sin, so two champions that aren't necessarily on theme with one another. And then T1 R5's LeBlanc. So two champions back-to-back that don't make any sense versus what Damwon showed. We talked about this in the POG state.
Yeah.
That the themes aren't really lining up. So either T1 is going to win on individual prowess and just snowballing, or yet again, 2 items forward, team composition is going to fall apart.
Well, we'll see what they can do. Damwon now have a 1-game lead as we head into Game 2. LCK Spring 2020 debut. And it's now Noguri on the set. This guy has a 100% win rate so far in solo queue on this pickup. We saw what Set could do in the last game in the hands of Roach. It wasn't necessarily fantastic, but now we'll see whether Noguri can teach us a thing or two. Roach did have the technology there in his mind. He was hovering the Soraka, but decided not to pull the trigger. As at least Nuclear and Hoyt are on champions that they're very comfortable on in the Xayah Rakan on the bottom side, but I feel like that particular Lovers duo has had its day in favor of other more powerful picks. Is now Canyon going to get Leonid for a moment, but doesn't have Shield and Daybreak, of course. Noguri grabs his first Haymaker, lands the sweet spot.
Well, so far in this game, though, we're not going to have anything super exciting going on.
Are they booster rockets on Set's back?
Doesn't he look like the thing from Pacific Rim?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Aatrox already has one of those skins.
Noguri has done his research, however, on Set runes.
Oh, yeah.
Has the inspiration for the magical boots, as well as the cosmic insight. Personally, a big fan right now.
See what the item build's going to be, whether Noguri is also going to sin with the Black Cleaver pickup.
And everything else looking pretty much standard across the board, so we're going to be in for a game. Now, Set, Trinity Force is actually an insane upgrade from the ornament. You get the attack speed, you get the AD, you get the HP. Doesn't really utilize the monostat, but also gets the movement speed upgrade, which is quite nice. Goes from, I believe, 5% to 8%.
I just think that, you know, it's very, very strong considering the 20% CDR that it does have as well. I mean, Garen's building it. You don't really care about the mana so much, as Noguri's just going to come over and steal some little Krugs from Cuz. He's then going to go back to base and clear his bottom side jungle. And Effort is just wasting no time. He's pressing as many buttons as he possibly can as soon as they're available. He's landing his Zenith Blade so far on the bottom side, though. Nuclear has quite a large mini wave to deal with, and this is why T1 are able to play so aggressively. Infernum there for Teddy, allowing him to clear up these. Or is that Sever? I should just stop.
It's Aladios.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You don't understand that.
It's just so many different things. I need to play more games on him, but he's complicated, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm an old man.
That's fine. You know what? You're just right to me, Atlas.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
So far, Noguri is feeling really, really safe in this lane.
Yeah, you can see Roach is actually looking like he's a bit rattled, as Noguri does take a turret shot, but he's able to land the Haymaker pretty well onto the Gnar.
Up 7 CS right now. And also the stuttering that Nuguri was just doing, I wonder if he's trying to pull the lanes in right now. Never mind, it does look like he's actually hitting minions. And so normally on set what you can do is you can pull wave and then you can play the balancing act with this QE to try to get the snare, well, the stun. Roach is not playing the balancing act that well, though.
He's getting hit a lot by these haymakers that Nuguri is throwing. And if I know anything about boxing, getting hit by multiple haymakers is bad, as that's a face smash right onto him. But the follow-up damage is going to be there. The bounce, we're looking for the 1v1 as Roach very close to Meganar. And in comes Cuz. Nuguri nowhere to go. The haymaker does land. He gets himself a brief shield, but that's still going to be bolted to the face. And first blood to T1.
And Nuguri just trading a little bit too hard right there, as Roach was able to retreat to the south side. At that point, Nuguri probably knew that he would be pinned by the incoming Gragas. Teleport coming in, Lee Sin.
That's real aggressive. Nuguri will find a face smash though, yeah, onto Roach. A lot of damage. Haymaker has to be flashed from Roach, who was respecting the damage. That's a flash that Roach didn't need to make, as Canyon looks for the Q, lands it, and grabs the follow-up kill. Can just walk out from under the turret as well. Calculated from the Dom1 jungler.
And the other thing about this is Set, he got an assist, and look at the confidence on Nuguri.
It's Nuguri, of course he has a call.
Plus Doran's Blade is the pickup. Now, I actually really love Roach's item purchase here. He got Ninja Tabby as the first item. And you see right now Gragas, he's shadowing because he's respecting Canyon's ability to repeat gank immediately, knowing that Roach's lane state is in a really bad spot. And had Canyon just immediately come back up, and if Cuz isn't there, well, you just lose top lane forever.
We can see they've got pings towards the Raptor camp. They have a feeling that they know where Cuz is. Teddy and Effort are shoving things forward here on the bottom side, winning out as far as the CS by just a little bit, but there's a whole minion wave to be picked up. Actually 4 minions, but still. That should even things out relatively effectively as Nuguri. Great combo here onto Roach. That probably would have killed, or at least been very, very close. And then in comes Canyon. All too easy.
Yeah, and he just picks up the kill, and you can see Gragas, not even really a chance to respond right there.
I find it really interesting that Roach wasn't a little bit more heads up on that particular play, though, because with the aggressiveness of the teleport from Nuguri, they knew that Canyon was in the area. But Roach just unable to get out of the way of the Q before that one landed. But yeah, it's a little bit hindsight is 2020, that particular moment. And it was just good play there from Canyon. Largely, Faker gets himself back mid. You can see he's ahead by a few CS, but range advantage will do that. And a little bit of a roam coming through from Hoyt. Get around the map, get some vision down where you can. Roach is still struggling, though. I mean, we were expecting this from a more facilitatory top laner, and Nuguri just being the guy that wants to carry every single game. But it's 2 games in a row where it's quite large CS advantages for Nuguri that he's been able to make without too many issues.
So far right now, I mean, Dom1, they're only up 300 gold, but it doesn't matter. All of their champions are better the longer that the game ends up going on. Infernal Dragon is going to be the first one of the game. Lee Sin should be the one that has complete control over picking that up. In fact, it looks like Dom1's actually just going to start it. And remember, ornaments, they're going to come in later on. So what we're hoping is Trinity Force on set, Black Cleaver on Lee Sin, Abyssal Mask, Sunfire Cape for Ornn, and then obviously Infinity Edge for Xayah, and then Redemption probably for Rakan.
That's the next ornament, is that Q. He's going to miss Faker, but Faker also not going to quite find the buttons that he's looking for. Showmaker makes his way around, and that's just to defend his jungler. Teddy's still controlling this lane, but no junglers have really been down here to try and protect the Lovers duo that are around. The Haymaker's starting to get some points into it, Roach. You really need to start avoiding getting hit by the sweet spot of that one. This feels like the range advantage that we were talking about isn't quite there when Haymaker's so large and you can use it off cooldown. No cooldown reduction being put together here by Noguri so far. He does have, of course, that extra potential 5% from the inspiration tree. As, that's a solar flare. Nuclear immediately uses the cleanse, but you'd still say worth ultimate for summon a spell.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a worthwhile pickup there for T1 as Gragas just trying to look for anything to do. And at this point, everyone's just kind of content on playing ping pong with the waves. And remember, Noguri with that call, eventually just going to turn that in, but rewarded. That's going to be another kill that essentially is added to the scoreboard. Roach is thinking that he could get 3-manned right now, I believe.
Yeah, he's acting very, very scared. And that's only going to balloon this CS advantage that Noguri has even further. Close to that 20 mark, as Roach doesn't even get that many minions as the wave crashes towards the turret. He's going to go back home, no teleport available for the Gnar, and he completes his Phage. And Noguri, you can see, he's a man after his own heart.
This is a man of culture.
Yep. This is the literally set that we were looking for, as that Stinger is on the way. Noguri looking for it, as Rift Herald is going to be taken by Damwon without contest. And we'll see where Shelly is going to park herself first. This stage of the game. Looks like T1 pretty happy just to let that one go, though, alongside the Drake. Feels like Damwon have had a lot of control of this map so far.
Warren a little angry.
Yeah, a little bit of a kick there.
Showmaker doesn't actually want to CS that until Lee Sin leaves, but it looks like they actually ate it together. I think they're going to summon Rift Herald, but they don't want to do it if Faker's actually still around, so now this is going to be a question of how are they going to end up doing this.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Canyon giving up on that particular Rift Herald summon, especially with a Rift Scuttle available down here. Hoyt in the area as Effort turns up. It doesn't land the Zenith Blade. Cuz gets into position and will spot out all of that vision that Damwon had put down. 2 minutes on the Ocean Drake, which is going to be the second, as another Haymaker decorates Roach with a bit more damage.
Noguri
he's just real good.
Playing right in front of him. There's the QE combo.
Yeah.
Managed to get a couple of autos, but his W is on cooldown, and so because of that, Roach able to take advantage of that, get a little bit of poke damage off.
Turret plates being eradicated here in the mid lane as Shelly gets a few casual autos on this as well, as Teddy comes down, spins around a lot, gets a lot of that DPS onto the turret. It's now Hoyt. Takes a bit of damage there also, but he's otherwise going to be okay. A lot of those chakrams being built up from Teddy, which is why he was able to do a lot of the work there. See whether Noguri is going to be kept honest, as Zenith Blade just out of range there of Point. And the battle for vision is down. Looks like T1 knows where their money is made, and it's in the hands of Teddy. Is Hoyt not going to get slowed, but will get given possibly another turret plate. We're not quite going to be able to. As Gravitum now set up. And Roach doesn't get the wallop, and therefore gets punished as Noguri lands another Haymaker. Canyon in a good position to defend this bottom lane. Feels like our junglers have been mirroring one another quite effectively so far this game. But it's Canyon that's been able to get himself to a quite gigantic lead when it comes to the camps. And potentially mid lane minions as well. As Noguri takes his second turret plate and is just standing underneath the turret trying to hit Roach.
I
think he's just dead, yeah. He's going to flash, but it's just not going to do anything. That is an unforced error, one could say.
Being really way too greedy right there. Also, he has his magical boots, but he couldn't get them because the items were locking it up. Yep. Now he gets the Stinger.
And if he hadn't have died there, he could have gone back and just got a Trinity Force, but instead he has to buy all 3 of the components, which is not what you want.
Yep. Ended up having to sell his Doron shield for it as well. T1, they're going to pick up the Ocean Dragon. It is a windy day on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, a lot of the Cloud Drake souls. Ocean Soul, sorry, Dragon Souls.
As
we'll see whether we get 4 of them like we did in the last game as well. But I think Noguri is going to still be all right. He teleported back to the lane, means that Roach does have that teleport advantage as the 15-minute mark rolls around. Some potential early fight teleports here available for Roach if he gets that Gnar bar to a good position. It's what we're going to be looking out for here. T1 has certainly been a team that's notable around playing around Gnar. Some of the better Gnar players have been members of this squad. Marin comes to mind, of course. And teleport plays, certainly what their top laners are capable of, is...
yeah, you can just see what he was trying to do. If he can actually get onto Gnar there, he can probably end up solo killing him.
아 죽었다. 아 개오바.
So
미안하다.
I died.
Yeah, he did. That is true. At least he's aware of that part of it.
And then he... I don't know exactly what that translates to, Keoba. It's mostly like, you gotta be kidding me?
Yeah.
Or like, that didn't really just happen, sort of a thing. And then he said, I'm really sorry.
Well, I think he might be able to make up for it. Still 20 CS in the lead, as there are a lot of pings on where Nogri has gone off to, but Roach is going to find him in his lane as the dust settles. Trinity Force now completed, so a big power spike here for Nogri. But waiting for that W to come back off cooldown and then try to get that combo onto Roach. Showstopper available, haven't seen it so far this game.
Oh man,
Oh no, Void might be in trouble. There's the solo play. Actually denies the battle dance as Teddy throws down the ult and will grab it with the last auto. I believe that was just the raining auto attacks from the ultimate, the Moonlight's Vigil coming down on top of the Rakan. So that's Teddy on the board with his first kill. This is dangerous. It's feeling scarier and scarier here for Damwon, despite that gold lead being absolutely nothing for either side. Teddy gets himself ahead, and if Roach is going to be in less than a horrible position, he's going to be all right. As Faker looks for the solo onto Damwon. The Ignite's ticking down, but the safeguard is going to be there. Faker jumps on back. He wanted to get the kill, but he's denied by Canyon, just throwing a Q into his face, and Faker overstepping towards the end. He looked desperate to get himself on the board.
well, this is going to be yet another tempo swing going in Damwon's favor. Ornn has hit level 12, and also Showmaker showing that he too is a bit of a savant with the correct Ornn itemization. Honestly, I've been losing my mind watching LEC and LCS. The amount of players that build Frozen Fist.
Yeah, the wrong ornaments.
Those are definitely the wrong ornaments.
Yeah, don't build the wrong ornaments.
That's when, you know, like when you're. Well, hold on. First, we're gonna take a look at the replay. I'll get back.
This is Hoyt dying.
This is Hoyt dying. So he gets locked up by Leona, actually pinned to the wall. Probably wasn't a big fan of that. And then Aphelios able to just bring him down and not to be outdone though. Damwon, they put themselves back on the board. That was a nice fadeaway kick by Showmaker. Faker tried to outplay it, but Canyon was still there with the Q.
Yeah, the vision availability there for Damwon as well, trolling Faker just a little bit. Had everything in place in order to be able to outmaneuver Faker's impressive LeBlanc. It did look like he was biting off a little bit more than he could chew, but these are plays that Faker has been able to make in the past. The face smash not necessarily working out as Canyon is going to jump on forward. That's going to be the showstopper in combination, but not against the wall, and Wallop there as well, but Canyon is still going to be able to grab it. Lands the Q, resonating strike enough to complete that one. And Roach just a slight overstep.
The other thing about this is even though the gold right now is only 400, 500 in favor of Damwon, their champions are so much better. And these Ornn items, they're going to start adding unseen thousands of gold to Damwon.
What is it, about 1,000 gold per ornament?
Well,
is the approximate stat weight?
A little bit different. Abyssal Mask and Sunfire Cape are, I think, in the 1,1700 range.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Deathfire, or Rabadon's Death Crown is also in that range. But there's not going to be anyone building that item this game, as the next Rift Herald is Spawn. And T1, they look like they want to take a Cloud Dragon fight. They're at a severe disadvantage if a team fight would first break out, but it looks like they're just going to be able to steal it and get away.
Yep, it is going to be Shirley that's able to take down the outer turret in the meantime, though, so a trade of outer and mid for that Cloud Drake. is going to be what it is. Effort's going to get into position as Cuz gets himself over with the body slam and not able to get the charges. Cuz kills it mid-air, but now Faker looking to try and escape from this one. His clone was destroyed so quickly and Set's going to punch him to death in the end. Unable to get away from the Ram or any of the Damwon players. Faker is getting targeted this game.
Well, like they're gonna try to go on nuclear, but not able to. Effort's gonna trade his ultimate for his cleanse. And unfortunately, Nagari, he started off so well with his itemization, he ends up picking up the Tiamat.
Yeah, you're not a fan?
I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Like the Sterix into the Death Stance, does so much for you.
Well,
gives you multiple uses of the Haymaker often inside of a team fight.
Have a look at this replay.
Yeah.
Nogari just going to face smash Faker, and he gets showstopped, and that is going to be the end of it. Showstopped, is that okay? As a verb?
Yeah, that's
we all right with it?
I like that, yeah.
I do like to verbify ability names, but I don't know whether that one's necessarily a goodie. As Showmaker's going to put himself together some more items. See whether Sunfire Cape is about to be completed, and there it is. Upgraded immediately. Ornamented. As now Hoyt's hunting for Roach.
Who do you think he's going to bestow first with an ornament? Lee Sin because of close proximity, or...?
I'm looking at Nuclear, who's now got a BF sword after he was considering going towards a Zeal item first. And I have a feeling that that might mean that he's trying to book it towards Infinity Edge or Molten Edge.
He's going to give it actually over to Lee Sin.
He can get like Quadra Force as well. The epic Trinity Force that Nogari could have for himself.
Yeah.
Faker just going to dash back to his Distort location. See whether he calms down some of these plays. He's not suffering from any sort of CS disadvantage like he did in game number 1, but of course Showmaker not on a champion necessarily known for being able to dominate in the CS lead department. It was Canyon that got the next ornament, as the Black Cleaver has been upgraded also.
Well, the itemization right now, I mean, you just look at Gnar. Look at how much bonus HP he has.
Yeah, there's a lot of bonus HP. It's scary, isn't it?
His 1100 bonus, which means if Set ever gets a hold of him inside of a team fight and drags him into T1's team, it's bad news bears.
Yeah, I think Showstopper, like, it's getting to the point where it takes 75% of Teddy's health.
That really would be a Pacific Rim style Hollywood like screenshot, you know, or you know what I'm talking about? Like
that's like the full Kaiju body slam.
Yeah,
situation.
exactly. That.
Maybe that's what we should call it this game. It's the Kaiju body slam. He needs to be up against Cho'Gath though. Oh no.
Yeah, that would actually.
Mega Gnar is relatively close to
best.
like monster style, but yeah,
it's not quite Godzilla status.
We need to have Set and Aatrox on the same team so that they can actually be the Pacific
Kaiju
Rim.
Yeah, I like
pretty
that.
Cool. Could you make a Pacific Rim team? You could have like.
Yeah, well, you have the Mecha Kingdom skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have Malphite.
You have Malphite.
Malphite could also, he could be support, I guess.
He could be support. And then what else do we have?
Big mechs. We need big mechs. I guess,
you know what? Malphite can go jungle, Leona can go support.
Yeah, you could have Skarner in there for some reason. It's like the Oven Skarner. No, the Lawnmower, sorry. Oven Cogmore could be there.
That's
He's
like
a bit mecha.
The utility warrior in all the anime shows, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the one that's not quite as big, but has something special going on. Okay, so Trinity Force actually was upgraded next.
Don't mind it. Hoyt once again going to be denied. That was an interesting interaction, but Effort finds himself a little bit further forward than he wanted to be. Faker doesn't find the chains. Damwon are going to get away scot-free.
Here's the thing I talked about, if you remember, inside the Pog state.
Yeah.
T1 has so much responsibility on them right now.
Face Smasher comes in. Nogari hunting for Roach. It's not going to be the Ram to come back, but Canyon's just going to destroy the Gnar. And you were saying?
Well, what do you want T1 to do?
I want them to have a top laner that's alive.
But realistically, in a team fight, what do you want LeBlanc to do? She can't actually pick anyone off. She can't jump on Set, she'll get E'd. She can't jump on Ornn, she does no damage. She can't jump on Rakan, he can chain it. She can't jump on Xayah. Can't really jump on Lee Sin either because there's no follow-up. What do you want Gnar to do? He can't really jump in.
Can't do anything right now.
You require these miracle, inhuman asks out of T1 in order to win a team fight, or you require Damwon to go full comatose on stage and completely blunder a team fight. The game is so far out of control right now for T1. They're going to need Damwon to throw equal to almost that Nexus throw in game number 1.
And that is a tough ask for a team that was already able to best T1 in the first game. I think what you were talking about is more dangerous, is more aimed at Teddy, because this game is just going to require the most insane Aphelios play that we've ever seen in order for T1 to really get across the line, because he is going to be the damage that's needed. As Roach, he put down the control ward as he was hopping over, and that's going to be bad news. Noguri knew that the rest of his team were coming down, but probably would have just won the 1v1 anyway, because there was a hop on cooldown for Roach and no Narbar inside. Just another mistake coming through from the new T1 top laner.
I mean, we're going to hop back to live, and now Ornn is also able to now give the Infinity Edge over whenever he'll get around to it. I'm hoping that Redemption is the next item out of Hoyt, just so he can get the little upgrade as well for himself.
Yep, maximize that one. Of course, we've still got a couple of levels come through there.
This is even more reason that we needed Santa Claus Ornn, by the way, for the ornaments.
Yep. I like it a lot. Titanic Hydra was completed here for Noguri, and now he's building towards Hysterics. Don't mind that, given the fact that there's a lot of health that is stacked up here by the set.
30 AD, just given over to Nuclear. Things just...
He's real scary.
Yeah.
And now the engage that's so comfortable here for Damwon is going to come down. Focused onto effort for the moment, but he flashes to get out of the way. But Damwon can rinse and repeat this so quickly. Yeah. And Faker, you could see, being denied entry by a lot of this Damwon peel that is available to them. That's a cast just to break up the squad, and Faker once again trying to dive forward. But speaking of diving in, Noguri does get in there. A massive Haymaker shield comes down, but it's not enough to keep him alive, as now Effort still surviving on the backline, as well as Faker managed to get to Nuclear and gets him with the last tick of the Ignite. We say it, but then T1 are able to turn it around, as now Canyon off in the backline, able to distract a few members of T1, as now Showmaker and Hoyt trying to take down Faker, but the chains are going to land onto Hoyt, and Teddy now sinks his fangs in, and Faker's going to grab that kill, and now they'll move over to the Baron.
You know, and we talked about it. We said that Damwon would have to blunder. Nuguri went Superman right into T1, who had just poked down some of the members on Damwon. He went in solo, couldn't really do anything. There was no follow-up in that corridor that was going to be possible by Damwon. Ornn's ultimate was on cooldown. They had just gotten Leona's flash. If they back off, reset, repeat, once Ornn has his ult up again, everything's going to be good. Watch this really quick. A lot of poke goes down onto Damwon, and then for some reason, Nuguri, when his teammates just input clicks away from T1, decides to man mode in on a Liminar, get eviscerated. Nuclear trying to run for the hills. Faker managed to get on top of him, and this is the exact kind of blunder that T1 needs to have happen over and over, and they need to capitalize on it just like they did.
Oh, Faker, that was beautiful. Distorting to get out of the way of the body slam coming through from Showmaker. Really, really nice stuff there. Faker showing that he has got his eye in at this stage of the day. You can see demonstrating that on the damage bar as well. This is what we needed. A little bit of a redemption moment for the king of the mid lane here in the LCK. Showmaker's not on the champion that is going to be able to counteract the flashiness. You know, he doesn't have the answers available in the Ornn. He is that facilitator. We do need to see him try and land these ultimates and even have them available when the team starts to fight. So like you were talking about, a little bit more of a mistake on Damwon's side than something to be super excited about for T1. But this is able to get Teddy towards his 3-item spike. He's beaten Nuclear to that particular punch. This time around, he has a lot of damage availability here. That Runan's Hurricane completed.
Aphelios is going to be the key component yet again. Faker is up a level over, well, Showmaker just dinged 16 actually, so up a little bit.
We'll see when that redemption comes in for Hoyt, whether that's going to be available as quickly as they would like. Looks like Showmaker is heading towards a Warmog's Armor, potentially, as his next item. And the Cloud Drake to be locked down here for T1. It dies so fast. In the hands of Teddy.
So definitely some slow rotations right now out of Damwon. And so this will put T1 one dragon away from the Cloud Soul. Warren
Puts Damwon in a little bit of a clock, which can be certainly scary.
Showmaker actually building the Warmogs. Personally, not a very big fan of that, especially because these team fights are not conducted in a manner where siege and poke is happening, but rather just all-on, hard, raw engage. That Ornn isn't really backing off to posture and then get the Warmog's passive going. Knight's Vow, I feel, would be really, really good here, and then ultimately rounding it out with Solari.
Yep,
just
certainly
for
an
his
option.
team.
Also like the upgraded Solari as well. Some solid stats on that one also. But Warmog's Armor is good if you're going to use Showmaker as a Baron tank. Certainly an option there. That's where Damwon want to win this game, is forcing fights around that Baron area. Given their composition, that would certainly be able to go in and counter-engage effectively against what T1 has brought to the table. You can see the gold lead is not there. I mean, it's 800 gold, means nothing at 30 minutes. And Damwon is still going to have to be honest in this next team fight to try and utilize their compositional advantage in order to win that one out. It's not going to be based on smacking them with your wallet or anything like that, especially not with some of the items that are about to come in. Faker staring down the barrel of a pretty cool hat. And only more items being placed on top of everything that Teddy's put together himself.
Well, they're just posturing right now. Sterix now completed for Nuguri. Guardian's Angel up for Roach, but that item does surprise me a little bit.
Sort of a this is our last team fight style item. And I don't mind it if you're going to grab a Baron and try and really break a hole in the game. But I can understand why you're raising your eyebrows just a tad. Because I think Nogger is the one that needs it. Needs it ASAP, because he's been throwing himself into T1 with quite consistency.
And the other thing about this state of the game right now is Faker is probably very close to Rabadon's death cap. I mean, he's waiting on Fountain. He might have it, I'm assuming, judging by how he's standing still. Either that or he's really debating on a sell, and he does have it.
Yep. And now T1 find themselves in a decent position moving into the next team fight. That actually might get Faker enough damage to sort of one-cycle nuclear, especially before he has himself a Mercurial Scimitar or any utility item. Hex Drinker hasn't even been afforded yet, or anything like that. With the cleanse available, I would like Hex Drinker or a Primordius for the Xayah. Not even able to pick that one up.
As long as Showmaker and Nuguri play this slowly, it's going to be very hard for T1.
God. Canyon has to flash to get out of that one, and now the counter engage is on. In goes Noguri, looks for Teddy. Hoyt dives on top of him as well, gets him with a quickness, and he's exhausted, but hasn't lost any health as Nuclear takes down Effort in the back line. Gigantic damage as the turnaround is in, as Roach has to flash away. And Teddy, he was just eviscerated. He was at full health for so long, and then Damwon decided that he should be dead.
Yeah, and he ends up getting cut off right there. Roach does not want to lose his GA. It's going to be a full-on retreat right now.
Oh, Faker actually might be able to find this. Double chains are going to land as Damwon are getting softened up. Faker dives on in once again, but Nuclear at high enough health.
Maybe be Baron for Damwon.
Oh, Canyon certainly agrees.
Yeah, that should be Baron. Faker is such low HP right now. Nuguri has TP available. He should be able to cut them off. He also has the Superplex available to remove Cuz from the equation. I don't know.
He's waiting for a teleport, waiting for the rest of T1 to make their way back in. Faker and Effort are going to be right on top of him. It's still going to be a 50-50 as Cuz is going to be near this pit. The barrel comes forward, but it's not going to be enough. And Noguri is going to be a sacrifice that Damwon are willing to make to secure the purple buff.
It really just doesn't make any sense. He could have TP'd behind the red buff ward and just looked for Gragas and then R'd him.
When has what Noguri could have done ever deterred him from doing the thing to put himself in the most danger?
Make an excellent point there, Atlas.
Yeah.
Well, T1, they are actually going to get themselves the Cloud Soul, unless Canyon is a hero with the steal.
We'll need a lot of extra movement speed here, and we'll help Teddy out. Very, not exactly the most mobile AD carry is the Aphelios, so now we'll be able to press R and move a bit quicker. So a lot of extra movement speed. Will help Faker dart around and try and stick to his opponents on Damwon's side.
Yeah, LeBlanc definitely going to be able to utilize that Cloud Soul. As looks like Banshee's Veil actually going to be the next item for Faker, as the Fiendish Codex picks up a Blasting Wand as well. As we take a look at this replay, Canyon loses all of his HP, flashes away from the Solar Flare. The Ram comes in a little bit misaligned, almost actually chains the CC onto Teddy, and then watch Nuguri gets the E into the Haymaker, and then the Wombo combo.
That was the E flash right on top of the Aphelios, and that certainly was a face cracker. Very well played in that last team fight. I was sort of wondering how he disappeared as that team fight was happening on multiple fronts. Now Teddy trying to clear out the wave as Faker's doing his best to play interference. Roach on the top side dealing with the super minions, sorry, the Baroned up minions.
Ooh.
Flanking position here from Faker, keeps himself in the dark.
Oh, I think Nuclear can die.
Yeah, Faker finds him, he is dead, but they do spot him out. That blue trinket does come down. Not able to get locked down by anything in the meantime, Cuz quite squishy here. Has to pay a lot of respect to the auto attacks that Nuclear can throw down.
Well, looks like this game is certainly going to go to Elder Dragon, the way that both teams are being so cautious. Now, Ornn looks like he's picking up a Stone Plate. I don't know why, with this much bonus HP, you wouldn't just get a Solari for your team.
Faker actually able to take down half the health bar of Noguri. They're still starting up the fight though, as great knock-up onto Teddy. Comes in from the Ornn, but the quickness doing a bunch of work. Teddy just evaporates the Rakan, and now Showmaker might follow the similar fate. A double kill so far for Teddy, but Noguri has a gigantic shield that's just not enough.
Oh.
As T1 have turned around the fight, and now Canyon, the last man standing. I don't know how they did it, but T1 found their team fight.
T1 got yet another team fight, and just like the team fight in front of T1's mid-tier 2 turret, Damwon really pressing the issue there on the top tier 2.
Yeah.
They end up getting smacked, and again, Nuguri and Showmaker both can't really find valuable engages. They're trying to play it really too fast, and T1 are just capitalizing on it very well. You see this Ornn ultimate, but Nuguri, look at him in the backline. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? He starts hitting the turret. He gets pinned against the wall. Set did nothing this entire fight, and he's so important.
Oh, Teddy sidestepping in the backline there as well. In fact, has almost the best guns for the moment as well. I believe the Moonlight Vigil was Gravitum, which was able to align all of the CC onto the opponents. Just shows that some team fights are different to others, depending on which guns that you have, and Teddy seemed to utilize them pretty beautifully in that last one. He's always been known for his team fight positioning, but that was basically as immaculate as you could get.
Stone Plate completed for Showmaker. Wall of Malmortia is going to be off cooldown in just a second. Xayah probably also going to get Guardian Angel. 2 minutes until the Elder Dragon. That's going to decide the game, most likely, as Blade of the Ruin King, I believe, is the final item of choice for Roach. All items complete for Faker.
Blade of the Ruin King also, you know, it's a good item against a champion that stacks mainly health here in Noguri. So will make a lot of sense if the Gnar meets him in a side lane. Already has Randu and Zoman completed, so a bit of extra armor on top of that. As okay, Cuz really wanted to kill that minion wave. Did so.
Okay.
You know,
I mean,
he does
have,
want to kill it.
he does have the Cloud Soul.
Yeah.
So his ult is almost back up.
Yeah. Also allows him to walk faster for a bit, which is cool.
Stopwatch
Faker is real angry at Nogri. He's been targeting
Moving
him a lot.
so fast. He is Speedy Gonzalez
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
boosting it. And of course, you can abuse Cloud Solve really, really well with how many times you can press your ultimate button. Look, Faker's got it again. He just used it seconds ago. I want to see the cooldown number of his Mimic. It's just silly. He may even be using it. It's just the ult comes back off cooldown so quickly that you can't even see that
That
he's
is
been
true.
using it. Look at it. It ticks down so fast.
Yeah. It's actually pretty... That is really, really
That's like
insane.
3 times a team fight that you could use.
Yeah.
Assuming everyone doesn't die in the first instance.
Definitely a very slippery LeBlanc.
Yep. There's a few 404 jokes
Now-
that you can make for Canyon at the moment, given that last team fight. There's a little bit team not found
Okay,
as Teddy has
Aphelios
found himself a Baron.
shreds this, but now here's where I'm worried.
Roach
Is
needs a
T1
Naba.
gonna be the ones that are impatient now. Ooh, Showmaker missed on Roach.
Yeah, and Roach now has the Naba, gets a solo Gnar onto Showmaker. Not exactly the target that you'd be looking for, but they should still be able to kill him. No, able to get himself out of the way with the Searing Charge.
And now Warmogs is actually gonna come in handy.
Yeah, he's going to get all of that health
He's gonna
back.
get all of the health back.
Oh dear.
And so now they're gonna be the ones that they're gonna have the defensive position.
And now the Ram is being called down. Faker dashing himself out of the way. Teddy now is relatively safe. Haymaker comes in. Not able to utilize the shield just yet. Damwon keep everyone alive. And we're just
might
at a
mean-
face-off. We're trading buffs, potentially, as Damwon have already started off the Elder Drake, and
Now-
T1 are moving straight for this Baron.
Elder is by far the strongest objective in the entire game. It's not even comparable. Before, you used to be able to actually trade Baron for Elder,
Yep.
and you could make a pretty good argument that Baron would be better, as long as you could...
And also, Damwon
Stave
can
off.
reliably dive with this composition.
Now it gets really, really scary.
Oh man, let's see whether T1 can show us why that trade was made. Teddy really hopes that he'll get Calibrum as his next gun. Not entirely sure which one it is going to be, but no sniping here. Still relatively low range. Does have the Gravitum to at least deter anyone from diving, given the CC available.
So there's only going to be a 3-second difference, it seems. 3 or 4 seconds on this Elder. T1 needs to avoid a fight at all costs.
Well, Baker just trying to poke in around the sides. Wants to find the right targets for it, of course. Now, Nogri didn't have a few abilities on cooldown, therefore couldn't answer what Faker was diving in to try and do.
And we are having a...
This is a barn burner of a series so far, dude.
You want to talk about the LoL state? This is definitely it.
Is it, or is this the Pog state? The face-off. The waiting out of the Elder Drake, which still has a minute and a half available for Damwon. 4,000 gold is the lead for T1, though. They've been able to get minion waves back into the right spots for them as well, but now it's T1 pushing into an eldered up team, which is not what you want to be doing. Faker's still poking around the edges, and he's had to be desperate in the way that he has played with this LeBlanc, just given, like you say, the narrowness of this composition's availability for her to get work done. But I think, to his credit, he has been able to do so.
Yeah, he's been able to find a lot of openings. And a lot of it is the willingness, but also the awareness to punish the mistakes that Damwon are making. They're not identifying how to play out the team composition. Even prior to the Elder Dragon, what I thought was going to end up happening, they would retreat back into River, and then they would use the narrow corridors to basically line up perfectly with Ornn's ultimate if T1 came to try to prevent it.
Yeah, use it as disengage rather than engage.
Yeah.
Certainly hasn't been Showmaker's MO. He does like to go in and make the plays. So maybe that's a playstyle thing rather than anything else. Baron buff still with 20 seconds to go, but it's only really Roach utilizing it at the moment. It's going to be identical buff timers, and this probably works out for T1, as Nuclear takes a bit of damage there, but is otherwise unfazed by Faker popping in from around the side. We got some trading going on. We've got some jockeying for position, one could say. T1 congregate underneath their inhibitor turret, but this minion wave is going to survive. The tower, not so much. Taken down very, very quickly here by Desire, who has fashioned herself 6 items, one of which has been ornamented.
They need to hold a phalanx. They need to play back to front if you're Dom1, and if you're T1, you need to posture and hope that Nuggery and Showmaker get a little too antsy with their engage. And it really does look like Dom1 are about to end.
I think Cuz really needs to hold on to his ultimate as well and use it for disengage to try and save their Aphelios as Teddy gets out of the way of the Ram, sidesteps the second portion as well. And now T1 on the front foot. Roach with a Narbar well and truly prepped for this potential fight. And Dom1 can see it, hold themselves together. And it's only Cuz that loses a bit of his health bar, and otherwise everything else is okay. Faker just wanting to finish his last remaining item.
I'm so glad to have you here, co-streaming NALCS with me, Atlas.
It is my pleasure. They've changed their names a little bit now.
I would like to ask Riot at this time to actually put on the proper nameplates of the teams. Take off the overlay.
I'm wanting like some 90s TV show style reveal to come in now, and there's canned laughter in the background. Oh dear.
Oh man. The real reason there's no audience here today is because we're actually in an A right now.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, and no, it's not Roach. Welcome, Dyrus, to the LCK as here goes the on-horn. Dom1 trying to make something happen. Haymaker does some work there. Cuz is the one to bear the brunt of it, but now Faker into the backline. Roach gets in there as well. Can he land it? No, he can't.
Oh!
As that's a huge knock up there from Showmaker. Gargoyle Stoneplate just not quite doing enough. As you can see, Teddy, gigantic shield, gigantic health bar, and is now looking to try and chase down Dom1 with not as many spells as they'd otherwise want. Look at all of these chakrams flying into Dom1, and they've been split up. Cuz still here, still available, and Nar goes down to his Guardian Angel. Canyon does have his as well, but effort is on the chase, and T1 find themselves a team fight victory, but don't find any kills.
Oh, they don't know about the TP.
Oh no, Teddy now out of position. Heal going to be used just to get the movement speed.
Canyon with the flank.
Yep, Showmaker, can he get in there? Almost has the on-horn once again as Cuz goes golden, flashes, body slams, gets out, the disengage with the barrel, and he's going to survive. Even sidesteps Roach's blast plan, which could have trolled him. But now Faker gets into the backline and eliminates the set. This team fight has gone for so damn long, but it's T1 that draw first blood after what feels like 4 minutes. Teddy gets on though. They can't. They don't have the damage available. A big Gnar. The big wall of Roach is alive for way too long. But now, can he actually find the team fight in the end? Can it be Nuclear that gets at the answers? No, it's Showmaker going to die to the hands of Teddy. A couple more auto attacks is going to do it. The Severum is what's up. Doesn't quite get the damage there, but eventually chases it down. We've now got an Elder Drake on the map that Dom1 have led T1 to on a silver platter. The barrel is mistimed, but who cares? Because I think they're still going to have enough to make this one work as Pop goes the Rakan, and Canyon, the next step in that 1-2 punch. The ace comes in, and T1 have brought us to a game 3.
They certainly have. I think that's the longest team fight
I've
ever seen in the LCK.
I don't think I'm ready for a game 3, man. Oh god, 6,000 gold is what it turned out to be, but T1 aren't looking at that. They're looking at a dead inhibitor, some dead Nexus turrets, and Nuggery, he might be following the same trend, dives into the back, but there is enough CC. Oh god, effort takes so much damage, not enough, as Aphelios does do about a bajillion damage.
In
technical
T1,
term.
They were patient, they remained steadfast, and waited 3 consecutive times for Dom1 to just go into them.
Yeah.
Which isn't what their team competition was supposed to do. Dom1 got impatient every single time. And historically, this was something that T1 was actually really good at for several years, which was remaining patient, going to the end stages of the game, and then just outlasting the opponent. They overcame a team comp imbalance. They overcame Ornn items on every single champion, and they managed to edge out a win that I really just thought was due.
Me too. Actually, and also, I want to harken back to that because I think what you're talking about is veteran status, right? And we saw Faker show that with, like, in absolute spades. It was extraordinary because he made some fumbles in the early game and then made a champion that wasn't necessarily the best jigsaw puzzle fit for their comp work throughout a late game that should have been very, very difficult to utilize.
And, you know, the thing about this is these games are kind of beautiful because it makes me think of David versus Goliath in the sense that T1 were the heavy underdogs once this hit mid-game, and yet we saw the exact sequence of events unfold that is required to allow them to make a victory end up occurring, and they also out-muscle Damwon here inside of this team fight.
I don't know how we haven't made a Showmaker versus Showstopper reference, by the way. I actually feel terrible. I'm really sorry for letting you guys down. That would have been game number 1, but weren't able to do it. He, in fact, used the Showstopper, Noguri did, in order to cancel a Gnar ultimate that would have hit 3 people.
Yeah.
That was pretty unbelievable stuff coming in for Noguri, but wasn't enough for them to actually win the game, and T1 have got themselves on the board. They'll accept a 2-1 victory, especially if it's a back from the brink style and they can close out with a comfortable game 3 that is a little bit less back and forth. Because right now we've had entertaining games, yes, but not necessarily clean League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, this has definitely been very chaotic. That game was super slow until that final explosion.
Yeah. And then the team fight went for like 7 minutes.
That was Mentos into Coke. If, you know, that was...
Just drop it right in the top. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it happened because it certainly was a long one. 47 minutes, very close to 48 minutes in duration. Faker doing the most damage, I think, tells a bigger story than this graph necessarily represents because he was able to get himself into situations that Damwon should have had answers for, right?
Yeah,
but he was able to get around and get that poke and